Welcome back. Assalamu alaikum. Discourse analysis, definition and meaning. What is discourse analysis used for? Conducting discourse analysis means examining how language functions and how meaning is created in different social contexts. It can be applied to any instance of written or oral language as well as non-verbal aspects of communication such as tone and gestures. Materials that are suitable for discourse analysis include books, newspapers, and periodicals, marketing materials such as brochures and advertisements, business and government documents, websites, forums, social media posts and comments, interviews and conversations. By analyzing these types of discourse, researchers aim to gain an understanding of social groups and how they communicate. Definition. The word discourse is usually defined as language beyond the sentence, and the analysis of discourse is typically concerned with the study of language in text and conversations. Meaning. The meanings of discourse. The word discourse is an elastic term. The word discourse has a complex history. It is used in a range of different ways by different theorists. Originally, the word discourse comes from the Latin discursus, which denoted conversation, speech. As a noun, it can mean verbal communication, talk, formal speech, or written on a subject and a unit of text used by linguists for the analysis of linguistic phenomena that range over more than one sentence. Triangle, language, discourse analysis, practice, context. What is discourse analysis? Discourse analysis is a research method for studying written or spoken language in relation to its social context. It aims to understand how language is used in real life situations. When you do discourse analysis, you might focus on the purpose and effects of different types of language, cultural rules and conventions in communication, how values, beliefs, and assumptions are communicated, how language use relates to its social, political, and historical context. Charles Fillmore point of view. Two sentences taken together as a single discourse can have meanings different from each one taken separately. To illustrate, he asks you to imagine two independent signs at a swimming pool. Please use the toilet, not the pool, says one. The other announces pool for members only. If you regard each sign independently, they seem quite reasonable, but taking them together as a single discourse make you go back and revise your interpretation of the first sentence after you have read the second. Discourse and frames. Reframing is a way to talking about going back and reinterpreting the meaning of the first sentence. Frame analysis is a type of discourse analysis that asks what activity are speakers engaged in when they say this. What do they think they are doing by talking in this way at this time? Consider how hard it is to make sense of what you are hearing or reading if you don't know who's talking and what the general topic is. When you read a newspaper, you need to know whether you are reading a news story, an editorial, or an advertisement in order to properly interpret the text you are reading years ago. When Orson Welles' radio play The War of the Worlds was broadcast, some listeners who tuned in late panicked, thinking they are hearing the actual end of the world. They mistook the frame for news instead of drama. Turn taking. Conversation is an enterprise in which one person speaks and another listens. Discourse analysis who study conversation note that speakers have systems for determining when one person's turn is over and the next person's turn begins. This exchange of turns or floors is signaled by such linguists mean as intonation, pausing, and phrasing. Some people await a clear pause before beginning to speak, but others assume that winding down is an invitation to someone else to take the floor. So, turn taking, when speakers have different assumptions about how turn exchanges as signaled, they may inadvertently interrupt or feel interrupted. On the other hand, speakers also frequently take the floor even though they know the other speaker has not invited them to do so. More, listenership, eye contact. Listenership too may be signaled in different ways. Eye contact, for some, eye contact is expected nearly continually. For others, it should only be intermediate. So, eye contact, the type of listener response you get and change how you speak. If someone seems uninterested or uncomprehending, whether or not they truly are, you may slow down, repeat, or over explain, giving the impression you are talking down. Frederick Erikson has shown that this can occur in conversations between black and white speakers because of different habits with regard to showing listenership. Discourse markers. Realizing that these words can function as discourse markers is important to prevent the frustration that can be experienced if you expect every word to have its dictionary meaning every time it's used. Discourse markers is the term linguists give to the little word like well, oh, but, and that break our speech up into parts and show the relation between parts. Oh prepares the hearer for surprising or just remembered items, and but indicates that sentence to follow is in opposition to the one before. However, these markers don't necessarily mean what the dictionary says they mean. Some people use and just to start a new thought, and some people put but at the end of their sentences as the way of trailing off gently. Books of discourse analysis. In short, how is discourse analysis different from other methods? Unlike linguistic approaches that focus only on the rules of language use, discourse analysis emphasizes the contextual meaning of language. It focuses on the social aspect of communication and the way people use language to achieve specific effect. Instead of focusing on smaller units of language such as sounds, words, or phrases, discourse analysis is used to study larger chunks of language such as entire conversations, texts, or collections of text. The selected sources can be analyzed on multiple levels. So, discourse analysis is sometimes defined as the analysis of language beyond the sentence. Discourse analysts study larger chunks of language as they flow together. Some discourse analysts consider the large discourse context in order to understand how it affects the meaning of the sentence. Thank you. All the best.